Okay, this is kind of a weird situation because in World War One, before they were trying to figure out how to like arm airplanes so that they could kill people from the air. And if you don't do this right, you can make the plane stall, and they can spin, crash, and burn, and that's kind of a scary thing. So you got this airplane, and it's moving, obviously. That's kind of part of flying. But it's going to fire a shell forward. So what's the velocity of the plane afterwards? Well, we know that before, the shell is on the plane. And look at the keywords there as it says including ammunition. So for the after part, we're going to have to subtract out that ammunition for the mass of the plane. And 2450 minus 5.12, the mass of the plane afterwards can be 2444.88. Okay, and
so that's this minus what the shell, so that minus the 5.12, right?
Yep, but the shell, we know that the mass of the shell is 5.12, and it's going to be going at 890 meters per second. Holy cow. For those of you keeping track at home, that's like nearly 2,000 miles an hour.
That's fast.
That's real fast.
That's for killing tanks.
Uh-huh. So we don't know what that velocity is.
Right? So you got this, then this, right? And then here we just don't know this, right? This has got to go slower, right? Because this guy's going faster.
Precisely.
So this is going to be 2450 times 52.40. And when I do these problems, I always write the momentum right under the object.
Yeah.
Some kind of a spaz.
No, it's so that you keep yourself organized so you don't screw up the problem.
So that's times V, and then we go plus 5.12 times 890.
Yeah. So the velocity before for this is going to be 128380, and that's the total momentum of the plane.
That's this, okay.
Okay, and then we still got 244.88 times V. Then 5.12 times 890, it turns out to be 4,556.8.
Is that right?
That is correct. So now my next move is to subtract that momentum of the shell from both sides. It's 128,380. Subtract out 4,556.8. I'm looking at 123,823.2. It's going to equal 2444.88 times V. And if I do my division through, I get 50.65 meters per second. Now, that's a little bit different than the velocity of the plane before. And if you were a pilot who wasn't cognizant of this fact, you might stall out your plane.
Yeah, people, apparently they would come down and they'd fly real low and they'd fire the cannon off, and they get so excited firing it off that the airplane the speed would drop and drop and drop, and then they'd reach the stall speed and crash their plane. Which, if you're up high, it's not a big deal to stall because your plane will just dive down and pick up speed. Most planes, like a Piper Cub, will do that just passively, right? If you pull back on the throttle and pull back on the yoke and just make it climb, right, it'll stall and regain its airspeed by itself, right? But these things would fly low to the ground, and of course if they stall, they just crash right into the ground, which was bad. So they actually ended up, I think they put an alarm next to the gunner attached to the airspeed indicator, and it would set off the alarm so that the gunner would stop shooting.